Good afternoon. I'm Alistair Book at the Providence Public Library for RIPE, the Rhode Island Independent Publishing Expo. Over 130 artists, authors and publishers from around the country exhibited during this annual two-day event. In addition to finding several books to review in the coming weeks, I enjoyed meeting their creators.
My newest book is a graphic memoir about my childhood and gender stereotypes called Tomboy. Hopefully people will be able to identify with my story, because I didn't have a lot of characters that I could look up to growing up that I was like, oh yeah, that person's like me. It was always like in a movie like Clueless, you know, the tomboyish girl gets a makeover and then she's a real girl and everyone likes her. So I wanted to speak to the people who feel a little bit left behind.
It is about a high school freshman who absolutely loves this fantasy series, which kind of gets picked out and targeted by some people to be banned in his town library, and him trying to swoop in and try and defend his favorite book and save the day.
I also sat in on a panel discussion about micropresses and distribution.
There probably seems to be slightly more interest in small press stuff over the past 5 years or so.
I don't want to say that publishing is becoming irrelevant because of things like Kickstarter and the internet and things like that, but I think that self-publishing is so much more flexible now than it's ever been, that you don't always need to look to somebody else and handle it all for you. So much can be in your hands, and you can handle so many things by yourself. But you know, it's also good to work with people and not just be alone in a dark basement. We're actually having a sort of a quieter year. We're trying to focus on wrapping up the story that Laura and I began in Tales of the Night Watchman. We've got 2 more issues coming out that will have both Laura and Amanda Skirty in it, and then also another one-shot, Tales of the Night Watchman one-shot by our friend June Begins.
When I can go to a show that really actively attracts an audience of people who aren't also doing this, who aren't also counting their dollars because they have to make their table fee, who are just hip people who have $50 to spend and don't mind spending it on some really cool comics.
I couldn't agree more. Expos like this are important for getting exposure to the wider community and support for artists and illustrators.
Providence is has a great arts community. Everyone seems very supportive of one another. Everyone seems sort of deeply entrenched in the scene, and it's been a lot of fun meeting the comics folks out here.
It's a great show, and I think it's bringing together a lot of really cool aspects of small publishing.
It's a really relaxed show. It's really been nice to be in a calm environment. The library is gorgeous. They've put us in this beautiful old room, and it's a really nice show.
So mark your calendar, and I hope to see you next year.